Thank you, Rob. Beautiful. Thank you. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! One of the things I love about New Year is just that. It's new. It's brand new. And the gift, thank you, because that's a song I've never heard before. And I love the way Spirit works. The talk today, the title of the talk is Here We Go Again. And the theme built into this is all about possibilities. And the way Spirit works is Robin and I don't get a chance to go over these things before they happen. He comes in with what he knows is going to be right. And I think we spoke for maybe a minute, barely had time to hug this morning before the pray-in and such. And then I get to sit here and just be blown away by the synchronicity, the talent, and the absolute heart that you put into that song. So thank you again. How about another hand for Robin? So the new year. And thank you to all you brave souls that have the consciousness to get to bed a little early last night. Or just managed to drag yourself out of bed on time this morning, whichever that might be. It's a pleasure to be here with you again. And I believe you've heard me say before, as a minister, when you're asked to speak somewhere, you're also immediately asked to provide a talk title. And normally you've got 2-3 months leeway. Well, this time around, Jill gave me about 4 weeks. So when she asked if I would speak, I said, yeah, that'd be great. I'd be happy to. She goes, okay, you got an idea for a title? Okay, New Year's Eve, here we go again. And again, I love how Spirit works. As I had the deep, deep honor to spend this past week down at a camp outside a monument with 50 of the teens from our movement and about 10 advisors. And we were holed up in a wonderful room with a big, huge fireplace and a couple of cabins to ourselves and a staff that actually cooked for us all week, which was great. And I got down to the camp, and the first night the advisors have a meeting and we all get an idea what processes we're going to go through. And I look at the title and the theme of the camp, and it's Here We Grow Again. And I thought, that's what I meant. That's what I meant 4 weeks ago when Reverend Jill asked me what the talk title would be. So today it's really Here We Go and Grow Again. And isn't that really what the new year is all about? It's an opportunity to start afresh. Quick question. How many people at some point in time last evening made a resolution? Anybody? 1 or 2? Okay. That's fine. For those that have, I'm going to ask you to consider something at some point today. And that is to let go of the resolution. And in its place, set an intention. If you read your bulletin this morning, and if you noticed we don't have our candle here as normal, we have a bowl. And part of our process today and part of our experience in this talk is going to be a burning bowl celebration and a ceremony. And the idea is to let go of some of the things that maybe don't serve us any longer. And you should have received a piece of flash paper when you walked in the door today. If you didn't, raise your hand and we'll get you one at some point in the service. But I hope everybody has one. And what I'm going to invite you to do is throughout our time together, I'm going to provide a number of opportunities that my intention is your mind and your brain and your soul will go, oh, that's it. That's the thing I want to let go of. So when that hits you, write it down. Jot it down on your piece of flash paper. If you find multiple things throughout this talk that make you say, oh, that's it, write those down. And if you just want to hold that paper and infuse that paper with the energy of what you're releasing today, that's fine too. Because ultimately what I'm going to ask you to do is move from resolutions to intentions. Resolutions they get broken. Often they get broken rather quickly. Is there anybody in the room that maybe made a resolution last year that actually remembers what it might be? Last night, my family, we have a ritual, and I'm so very blessed that my family's with me today. We had a ritual where we lit our family candle, and we shared some of the wondrous things that happened for us in the past year. Some of the amazingness that happened for us. And then we got a chance to set the intentions. What are we calling forward in this new year? What do we desire to experience? What is it we're looking for in the coming year? So as we looked at intentions, I had to pull out the big book here. And this is The Science of Mind by Ernest Holmes, by the way. He wrote on page 282, the way to proceed is to begin right where we are. Right where we are. It is not scientific to attempt to begin something else or from somewhere else. So if we're going to begin this journey this year, we've got to begin right where we are. Right here, 805 Yale Street. It's not scientific to go back to the September school or the Integral Center and start our intentions for 2012 from there, would it? One who understands the systematic use of the law will understand that what he is where he is because of what he is. Now remember, Ernest wrote in a time where our pronouns were not very inclusive. So for all the ladies in the room, when I say he, you just hear the word she, and we'll be cool. It is not scientific to attempt to begin somewhere else. One who understands the systematic use of the law will understand that he is where he is because of what he is. But he will not say, I must remain where I am because of what I am. Instead, he will begin to disclaim what he appears to be. That's the begin to disclaim what we appear to be. Begin to let go of what we think we are, or what we think is the best for us. Instead, he will begin to disclaim what he appears to be. As his statements release wrong subjective tendencies, providing in their place a correct concept of life and reality, he will automatically be lifted out of his condition, impelling forces sweeping everything before them will set him free, if he trusts in spirit and the working of the law. And so that is what you're being called to this day, to trust that the law is working on your behalf. And today you will be given an opportunity to let go of some things, to release some ideas or beliefs or preconceptions of what your life is supposed to be like. Many of you know I had an opportunity myself back in August to let go of some preconceived ideas of what my life was supposed to look like. It isn't always the most joyous experience. We don't necessarily blow horns and pop poppers and send confetti cannons shooting out into the night. When we're asked to let go of who we thought we were and instead allow Spirit, allow God to move us, to express as our lives. Howard Thurman wrote, "Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it." Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. You know, it's always so great on New Year's morning to see the people that are alive. And that's not anything against the people that chose to sleep in this morning. But it is so fun. And that's what I love about this movement, about this community, is you guys are alive. Every time I get to visit here, I see it in the smiles, I see it in the music, I see it in the service that you provide, in the sacred service, in the community events, today's potluck, and vision boards. It's an opportunity for all of us to be alive. And it provides a chance to grow. Now, in religious science and science of mind, we use the metaphor of the seed in the soil, sometimes a little too much for my taste, personally. But we plant that seed, and the concept is we have to be patient and allow the seed to grow, right? We know that the tomatoes will not appear if we allow the dog to dig into the garden to check and make sure that the seeds are still there. So I was looking around at, playing around with this concept of growth. What does it mean to really grow? This was a big question for the teens and myself and the other advisors this past week at camp. What does it really mean to grow? There's a lot of variations, but I kind of came up with one here that I like. So to grow is to create a goal. G stands for goals. I would imagine everyone in this room has some goal set in their mind for 2012. Some sort of goal. If anything, it's just to prove that all this hoopla around the end of the year doesn't mean much. That we'll still be here on the 21st of December next year. That might be a good goal. Maybe the goal is to get a new job. Maybe the goal is to finally find that relationship. Maybe the goal is to get a new car. Maybe the goal is to create a deeper relationship with God. A more intimate relationship with God. Maybe the goal is to step into spiritual leadership here at the Boulder Center. Whatever it might be, the goal is really the intention. We're setting an intention. We're telling the universe, this is what I desire. This is what I want to be. This is how I want to serve and contribute. Well, as soon as we set that goal, what are we faced with? Reality. Reality can often be the ego saying, you can't do that. Maybe it's a friend or a family member saying, what are you, nuts? That can't happen. You can't create world peace. You can't be a force that brings a positive energy to the Middle East. You can't balance your checkbook. Well, reality is an opportunity for us to look at the O in grow and look at what are the options. What are the options? Maybe I convince my wife to balance the checkbook. Maybe I choose to turn away from those little voices that say, I can't, or I'm not enough, or there's no way that could happen. There are always options. Regardless of the appearances, no matter what you may see, there's an option. And then the W is the way forward. Now what I've learned, and believe me, this was not an ingrained process for me. What I've learned over the last 10, 12 years is there is a way forward, and God makes that way possible. Your gifts, to quote Michael Beckwith, your gifts make a way for themselves in the world. Your life is making a way for itself in this world. Now you might be sitting there thinking, well, yeah, that's all well and nice. How do you know that? It's happened for me. And I know it's real for you simply by the fact that you chose to get out of bed on a New Year's Day and get here. For a guest speaker who's not your normal everyday minister. You made that effort. You made the way yourself to be here today. And I know that's God operating through you as your very life. So this year you're being asked to grow. And if you read the email newsletter this week, what you know is your annual theme, Living by Divine Design, Living by divine design. I loved it. When I saw that, I was like, yeah. There's a sense in that statement for me of letting go. Of exactly what we're going to do here later. Letting go. Because if I'm living by divine design, that means I'm not making it up. I'm letting Spirit do that. I'm letting the divine do that. And all I'm being asked to do is tap in, is listen. Look for the signs. Look for the symbols. Allow myself to be guided on a daily basis to what's next, to what's the highest. And when you release something, what you have is space. Think about it. There's probably someone in this room that made the intention to clean out the closet this year. Or the resolution to clean out the closet. So what happens? We head home, we set aside a Saturday afternoon, we go through, we try on everything we own. It's kind of cool. And we realize, well, the sleeves are a little short on this shirt now. Or, you know, I never really did like this shirt, and I realized that I haven't worn it in over a year, so okay, it's going to go in the donation pile. And, you know, these slacks are getting a little old, the hem's a little frayed, I'm never really going to wear them again, let's let them go. And you end up with a lot of extra space, right? Well, that space is there to hold the intention, not to fill it up with more stuff. Now, if you need it, you know, if you let go of a red blouse and you need a new red blouse, that's okay. But it doesn't mean we go out and buy 6 of them. We allow that space to hold our intention, and we trust with faith that Spirit fulfills that intention, fills that space. And so I'm going to really ask you to think big in the coming year. To think bigger than you've probably ever thought before. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. But I also found a really great quote by Ernest that I think speaks to this concept of divine design. The great adventure lies ahead of you. Discover within yourself that divine spark which may be fanned into a glowing flame, giving you warmth and security. The light from it can certainly and surely guide you to the greatest experience anyone can have, the experience of the presence of God, to whom all things are possible. So those of you that read the email newsletter know that I didn't just find that. Reverend Jill found that. And I'm borrowing it today. Because that's part of the theme. That's part of this call that the Boulder Center is inviting you to take hold of for 2012, for the next year. Living by divine design. The great adventure lies ahead of you. What do you want to make 2012 into? Discover within yourself that divine spark which may be fanned into a glowing flame. So Ernest is telling us we don't have to go outside for this. You don't have to be in this room to find out what that glowing flame may be. You don't have to go to the next greatest workshop. It's already within you. Now, we do want you to come to the Vision Board workshop this afternoon because it's fun. But not because that's the place to find the answer. That's the place to set the intentions, to fan the flame. The flame is within you. Joining us after service today for some food and some fellowship and creating a visioning board is just one of those ways that we fan that flame, that we give it the oxygen it needs. We give it the time that it needs to start to grow, to be nurtured. And what the return is that flame gives us warmth, security, that inner knowing that God is here, that we are supported. And the light from that flame guides us to the greatest experience anyone can ever have. The presence of God. That intimate relationship with the divine. Oh, it doesn't get any better than that, folks. Not in my life. And if you find something more, just more of it, something that's more than an intimate relationship with God, however you choose to define that. Those that remember my visit here in August know that one of the ways I find God is on my mountain bike. Nice warm summer afternoon, get me at 10, 12,000 feet, get me out into the hills, get me away from the hustle and the bustle, leave my phone in the car, and get out and ride. That's one of the ways I fan my flame. How do you fan yours? How do you fan your flame? So part of this is that sense of more. And as my family sat around the table last night and lit candles and shared and yeah, my wife's got this funny thing. She likes to go by ages from youngest to oldest. So I'm always last. And I got to listen to my kids, and I got to listen to what she wanted to intend. And I'm just sitting there, and when it got to my turn, all I could say was, more. I'm intending more. I'm intending to love more. I'm intending to give more. I'm intending to receive more. I'm intending to serve more. I'm intending to be more. To be big for God. To think big. And it's not, quote, for me. It's for you. It's for the people that decided to sleep in this morning. Now, one of the things we really got at camp this year is that by serving others, we are served. By helping others to reach their goals, I am served in reaching my own. I believe that with all my heart. That if you can do one small thing each day in service to someone else's dreams, in service to someone else's desires, then you are in turn guaranteed to get yours. It's the way the universe works. If I'm giving, that energy has to come back around. It's called the law of reciprocity. And it's a pretty big thing in our movement. The more I can give, the more comes back to me. When we ask you to share your gifts and your offerings and your tithes later today, you're going to hear that same concept. That as I give, I receive. So as we look at setting intentions for 2012, we want to look at, what am I prepared to give? Yes, we're going to let go. We're going to let go of little thinking, small thinking. And I recently ran across an author. His name is Michael Port. Amazing man. And if you read his early work, you know that he came out of the business world. He wrote business books. And some of them are really good, and some of them are really interesting. And then as you read him, there comes a point where you can go, oh, he just found new thought. Whether it's unity or religious science, this guy just found it. Because his tone and his timbre changes. What he asks of you as a reader changes. And what he has started is a thing called the Think Big Revolution. Now, for me, I'm not really big on revolutions, even though they kind of are hip around the world right now. They're happening in a lot of places. So I just kind of tweaked it a little, and I call it the Think Big Evolution. But to be able to think big, we also have to identify where we think small, don't we? Because otherwise we're just thinking. And if I'm just thinking what I've been thinking every day, well, what am I going to get? What I've always been thinking. Here we go again. Originally was my first thought in this talk was, well, I want to inspire people to not keep thinking the same stuff they've been thinking. I'm sure we have all heard the Einstein quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Insanity is thinking that we can just keep doing what we did in 2011 and get different results. And if you're good with where life is right this minute, and there is nothing more you want out of life, then by all means keep thinking what you're thinking. That's cool. If life's working, but if there's something more you're looking for, something you'd like, that you desire, that you're calling forward, then we got to get rid of the small thinking. And small thinking happens to come in three basic concepts. Our past predetermines our future. Now, Ernest came right to the point on page 275 of the big book. Principle is not bound by precedent. The law of attraction, the law of reciprocity, love, light, all that we teach in the Boulder Center is not bound by precedent. It is not bound by our past. If you had a crappy 2011, there's nothing out there that says that you've got to continue that. And the energy that you created last year is not attracting the same energy this year unless you let it. Unless you stay anchored in that old energy. So the first thing to do is let go of this concept that our past predetermines our future. The second aspect of small thinking is there's not enough. If you haven't heard this before, let me be the first to tell you, that's just BS. And BS stands for belief system. So do you choose to hang out in a belief system that's limiting you, that's holding you back, that says there's not enough? Or do you choose this coming year to hang out in a belief system that is empowering to you, that says God is my source and I shall not want? That says there is enough in this universe for me to have or be or do anything I want. More love. More light. A sports car. On the way up, my wife and I were chatting. I was like, this is the year I got her a van last year. She was sharing how much she loves our van because it allows us to get the kids around and take extra kids, and we love the van, and it's great. And I said, yeah, and we got you the van, so this year it's my turn. So hold that with me if you want. And the third thing I'm going to ask you to let go of small thinking is that winning requires a loser. Winning requires there be a loser. 2012, in my mind, is about collaboration. It's about coming together, either in partnership or in community, to create something new. So again, I turn to the science of mind because somebody asked me this past week, what's your ministry about? What are you really passionate about? I said, what I'm most passionate about is the science of mind principles. Yes, I'm a oneness blesser. Yes, I see a Reiki practitioner. Yes, I do other things and I experience other modalities of getting closer to God, of nurturing that relationship, but ultimately, I'm passionate about the science of mind principles. And so in the Global Heart, you'll find that one of the Global Heart tenets is we see a world in which there is a generous and continuous sharing of heart and resources. Are you willing to share the resource that is you with someone this year? To move away from competition and move into collaboration? To know that when you win, everybody wins. And there doesn't have to be a loser. There doesn't have to be a loser. Our past predetermines our future. There's not enough, and winning requires a loser. That's thinking small. And the call today is if you're willing and ready to think big. I mean really big. Really big. How big does it get? Is it about a position, a job, a relationship? Maybe someone in this room is facing a health challenge. And thinking really, really big for them is a body that's free from any dis-ease. Maybe thinking big is $1 million in the bank. Or heck, add an extra 0 to the end of that. Or heck, add an extra 5 in front of it. How big? How really big are you willing to think? In order to do that, you have to create space. You have to release. And so now we're going to give you an opportunity to release. And I'm going to invite Kathleen to come up. And she's going to stand here and kind of hold the visual over our bowl. And if you haven't written something on your paper, on your flash paper, that's okay. You can infuse the energy into it. We're going to have Robin sing a little in the background. And as you're ready, you don't have to line up, but when you're ready, come on up to the bowl. Just drop your paper in the bowl. If you want to verbally share with Kathleen or myself what it is you're letting go, that's great. If not, you don't have to. Make this work for you. How does this move you? And once everybody's paper is in the bowl, then dear Kathleen's going to light the whole thing on fire. And
I'm going to release it.
and I'm going to get rid of any combustibles. So when you're ready, please come on up. Robin's going to take us away with some songs.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. In my faith I see the light. I am one in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. Let the Spirit run my life. My heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God.
You don't want to release that too much, huh? Now if you'd all close your eyes for just a minute and take a deep breath. And as you do so, see everything that you have written and all of your intentions being released. And know that as we have done this, you have each set your intention to release in this bowl. It is all gathered together with everyone here. And we bring everyone's heart and soul into affirming and helping everything that you have wished for be released as I light it now.
And they all took a step back. easy.
It is that.
It is just that easy to let it all go. Everything you put in that bowl is gone.
There's nothing.
There's nothing in there, folks. That's how easy it is to let go of a belief. And so I'd like to close with one more quote by Ernest Holmes. This one can be found on The Science of Mind, page 233. If one would take time once a day, at least, to let go of all that is not true and lay hold of reality, let go of doubt, distrust, worry, condemnation, and fear, and lay hold of life in its expression of beauty, truth, and wholeness, his or her mental congestion will be healed. Let me read that one more time. If one would take time once a day at least to let go of all that is not true and lay hold of reality, let go of doubt, distrust, worry, condemnation, and fear, and lay hold of life in its expression of beauty, truth, and wholeness, his, her mental congestion will be healed. And so my call to you this day, my question for you this day, is can you create your own daily burning bowl? Are you willing to daily let go? To cast aside all that no longer serves, any limiting beliefs, any belief in lack, limitation, disease, disharmony, let all of that go into your own burning bowl each and every day. And before the day is done, light a candle, light a match, and as quick as that, let it all go. Because you can have New Year's every day. You can set new intentions. You can set a new life course every single day if you have your own personal burning bowl. I'm going to ask the practitioners in the room if they would please stand. These people are here in service to you to hold the consciousness, to know the truth, even when you may not be able to see it. And so I ask them to stand so they can hold the consciousness of this prayer. I simply ask you to join me. If it's comfortable, close your eyes. And we just breathe. We breathe in the light. And we breathe out the limitations. We allow into our lives more of God, and we let go of everything that does not serve. For it is here in this moment that I recognize God as the one power, the one presence, the one infinite intelligence that operates as all of life. I recognize God as the source, the unending source, and the unlimited supply of love and light and beauty, truth and health and wealth and well-being, abundance, prosperity, opulence, intention, clarity. It's all God, and it's all present right here in this moment, as my life, as your life, as the lives of those unable to be with us. But most especially, I recognize God operating in your mind, as your consciousness this day. And so I speak my word. I claim for each and every one of us here a deep, deep sense that it is all good, because it is all God. I claim for each of us a heartfelt sense of letting go and releasing into the nothingness from which it came, all that does not serve. Anything that may have served a purpose in our past, but is not the precedent we are bringing forward. And so we let that go. We no longer allow the lack and the limitation, the past beliefs of our lives to hinder or impede our progress in this life. Instead, we set our eyes upon the target. We focus upon the goal. We reach forward with our intentions, knowing that we are being called, beckoned, moved, and guided forward into magnificent expressions of life. Into ways we may never have imagined, and yet we know deep inside that we are forever cradled in the strong arms of Spirit, forever supported, forever supplied, because there is no lack. God does not believe in lack. God believes in only the infinite abundance, the abundance that says, yes, there is more. There is more love, there's more light, there's more beauty, there's more truth out there than we could ever know. And we are free to accept that. to take that and grasp that freedom, that light, that love, that beauty, hold it dear to our heart, nurture it. Allow that to be the intention that pulls us into 2012 and beyond. Oh, and it feels good. It feels good to be in this spiritual community. It feels good to recognize the intentions that are already being set in the mind of God right now. As I speak this word, I can feel those intentions. And I can feel God acting upon them, saying, yes, yes to your desires, yes to all that you want. I can feel that, and I know it's true, because I know that as we loose this law into this word into the law, that God has it. And so I am grateful. Grateful for the reminder of this truth, for the opportunity to be the reminder, to be the conduit through which God reminds each and every one of us of our divinity, of our magnificence, of how good life really is. And I'm grateful to know that as I loose this word on the law, it is already done. It is already so in the mind of God. This word could not return void, for it is already moving into fulfilled manifestation. I know this truth. I know this same truth on your behalf. And so I simply invite you to join me in affirming this truth as we say together, and so it is.